Let's talk about a word we use all the time, maybe without even thinking about it: deadline. The idea we're exploring today is that this word and the whole system behind it is actually part of an invisible trap. And the only way out? Well, it's to skip the deadline.
This quote, wow, it really gets right to the heart of the matter, doesn't it? It's suggesting that whenever we measure performance, whether it's how fast a barista makes a coffee or how we do on a quarterly review, we're not just measuring a task. No, we're measuring a life.
And this whole big idea starts from something so simple, something you've probably seen 100 times: a glowing red timer in a coffee shop, just counting down. It looks harmless, right? Just a little tool to make things more efficient. But that clock is a clue. It's a key to unlocking a hidden system that shapes almost everything we do. So that brings us to our first big idea, the timer on the wall. Let's dig into how this one little object can pull back the curtain on a system of control we barely even realize we're in. See, that timer isn't really about making better coffee, it's about transforming people into machines. All of a sudden, human things like care, craft, or thoughtfulness, they actually become problems. The only thing that matters is speed. Your value, your worth, gets boiled down to just a number on a clock. And this isn't just about coffee shops, not at all. Think about it. This pattern is woven into the very fabric of our lives. The project that's due on Friday, the factory floor calculating units per minute, even school, where a bell just cuts off a thought mid-sentence. We're all living our lives to the beat of someone else's drum. And it all leads to this really stark conclusion. The clock does not organize life. It consumes it. The very tools we made to manage our time have turned around and started to devour our lives, leaving almost no room for anything that can't be neatly scheduled or measured. Okay, so if the timer is the symptom, what's the actual disease? Well, our source material calls it the subworld trap. It's this invisible structure of compliance that we're all born into, live inside of, and honestly, most of us never even see it.
This subworld, it's not built with brick and mortar. It's built inside our own heads. It's a system held together by one powerful belief, that all those external numbers, our grades, our job titles, our performance reviews, that they are the ultimate truth about who we are.
And this conditioning, it happens step by step over our entire lives. We learn to chase the metric instead of the meaning. We learn that the grade is more important than being curious, the deadline more important than discovery. And then, without even thinking about it, we pass those same invisible chains right on to our kids. So why do we stay in the trap? What keeps us there? Well, it's the promise of security, the steady paycheck, the benefits, a respectable title. But the argument here is that this security is actually an illusion. It's fragile, it's conditional, and it depends entirely on us just continuing to play by the rules. And here's the kicker. The trap works best when nobody sees it as a trap. The system's greatest power is that it's invisible. The moment we accept its rules as just normal, we become our own jailers. Okay, get ready for this next part. It's a fascinating and, frankly, a pretty chilling revelation about a word we all use every single day. This is a real turning point in the whole argument.
Seriously, think about it for a second. We use it all the time. The deadline's Tuesday. I'm on a really tight deadline. It's like the cornerstone of our entire professional world. But where did it come from? What does it actually mean?
The origin of the word deadline is chilling. It comes from prisons, from Civil War camps. It was a literal line drawn in the dirt around the prison, and any prisoner who dared to cross it was shot on sight. It was, literally, a line for the dead.
Isn't that incredible? The argument is that even today, in its softer, corporate version, the word still carries that original, coercive shadow. It's still a boundary enforced by consequence. It's a tool designed for control, not for creation.
And this leads us to the core thesis, the big idea of this entire piece. Deadlines are for the dead, the living must skip the line. If the word itself was born in a place of control and death, then for those of us who want to truly live, we have to find a way to live beyond it. So, if we're meant to skip the line, what should we be doing instead? This brings us to a new concept, the brain for higher work, and it asks a really fundamental question. What is the human mind actually for? We need to make a really clear distinction here. On one side, you have work that's perfect for machines: repetition, calculation, data entry, just following orders. But on the other side, you have the work that only humans can do: creativity, questioning, real problem solving. The tragedy is that our systems push us to spend most of our precious time doing the machine work.
And this leads to such a powerful irony. We're all so scared that machines are going to take our jobs, but the jobs we're desperately trying to protect are the very ones that treat us like machines in the first place. The argument here is that we should gladly hand that work over to automation so that we can be free for something higher.
So this is all building towards a fundamental shift, a shift in our identity. Let's look at what our source calls the move from employee to creator. This is the final, really actionable idea that ties everything we've talked about together.
Look at these two mindsets side by side. The employee is defined from the outside, by instructions, by the system, by the timer. But the creator is defined from the inside. It's about directing your own mind, owning your own work, and building your identity from within.
Now, it's really important to be clear here. This is not about quitting your job to become an artist. It's an internal shift. A creator can be a doctor, a construction worker, a CEO. It can be anyone in any role who simply refuses to let their value be defined by a clock. It's all about a mindset of ownership.
So how do we make this shift? It's really a three-step journey. First, you have to see the timer. Just become aware of the systems that are controlling you. Second, question the deadline. Understand its true coercive nature. And finally, find your higher work. Reclaim your mind for what it's truly built for: creation.
And so we end with a final question for you to take away. After everything we've talked about, when you look around and you see all the timers counting down in your life, you have to ask yourself, who are they truly serving? Are they serving you? Are they serving the system that created them?